Hi everyone, this is in the series How to Get a Specific Person. In this case it is an ex, and this story is from Faizia. So, goes like this. First of all, I want to send thanks to the universe for coming across your work. It has not only changed my world, but gave me the inner strength that I needed for a very long time. Bless your heart for all that you do. You're such an inspiration and doing an absolute phenomenal job. Thank you, darling. Thank you. And this is her story, part 1. Before coming across your channel, I was only doing a morning meditation by Abraham Hicks, but didn't know much about law of attraction. And self-love was something I was completely alienated to, LOL. Oh my God, I can't emphasize enough on the beauty of self-love, as I feel it has been the missing piece for me all along. Through self-love, I'm able to set boundaries and let go of people who have been toxic. So I came across your channel in the spring of 2019 while going through a divorce. I was doing a lot of self-reflection in that phase as my life fell apart. Marriage of 16 years ended, eventually losing my home and starting afresh. It was overwhelming and daunting being in a long, stressful marriage. I spent many nights crying, seeking the guidance from God. And now when I look back, I know exactly how my thoughts and my deepest desires brought me here to this path of spiritual awakening, which I'm immensely grateful for. My thoughts manifested into my physical reality end of 2017. And the gateway to this new life was my car accident. That accident gave me a pause to reanalyze my life, as I was bedridden for over 2 weeks and being treated like a doormat by my ex-husband. So I questioned my marriage and my place in this life as a woman. So after my divorce, I was reading a lot of online articles on relationships in general, and also reading about each zodiac sign, personality types. Somehow I was always inclined towards Cancer male traits, as my uncle, who was the main father figure in my childhood, was a July-born Cancerian man. I guess while listening to one of those videos on YouTube, your channel came into my recommendations, which isn't really pertinent to what I was into at the time, but somehow the universe had its way for me to get connected with the concepts of meditation, manifestation, and law of attraction. After watching some of your videos, I got pretty intrigued, so out of fun, I started doing some random SP meditations here and there, but mostly listening to success stories and Neville. So, in August of 2019, after seeing a video on scripting, I wrote a list of qualities I wanted in a partner. And as crazy as it gets, 3 weeks later I met my SP, let's call him Jay. He was everything on my list and more. A Cancer male, like I always wish my partner to be, an exact same height as my uncle, 6'2", and the kind of physical appearance I am attracted to, extremely educated, career-focused, chivalrous, old school, kind-hearted, family-orientated guy. What else could I have asked for, right? It was the feeling of too good to be true, and I just couldn't believe what was happening. I was in another world, and when he said all the right things and did all the right stuff, the drunk monkey in my head started to go crazy, questioning his intentions and whatnot. I remember the day we were supposed to meet, to spend the weekend together. I was reading an article on online traits of a player. Oh, what a disservice I did to myself and to something which was the beginning stages of blossoming by filling my head with all that crap. We had such an amazing time together that weekend. He was exactly what I've always envisaged my man to be. He even did a few chivalrous acts, which were in my imagination long ago, but my marriage fogged them, as my ex-husband never did those things, and actually made fun of me that I lived in a dream world, saying those things only existed in the movies or in novels, but I knew it wasn't unreal, and a well-rounded man treats his woman like a lady and makes her feel special. But then, after a month and a half into the relationship, when Jay got busy with work and was less attentive, I got extremely insecure, needy, and doubtful. I sent him crazy amounts of lengthy texts and said all the wrong things, which pushed him away to a point where he stopped calling me all the beautiful things or names he previously did, and then cancelled our next meetup, which made me apprehensive, and he retreated further back and got less and less responsive to my texts, and I wouldn't call me back, which of course made me even more nuts, and I started chasing him like hell and blowing up his phone like a lunatic, that he eventually blocked me, which I didn't really know until he told me a week after. When I called him from an unknown number, because that was the longest he took to reply to my text, and I felt something was off. Oh, and yes, my world was torn apart. I was like, what the hell has happened to me? I cried nonstop, cussed God for why he sent Jay into my life if he has to treat me like this. I literally felt that I was yet another joke, that it was yet another joke of my life. And in that moment of despair, I blamed Jay more and more, as I was coming from a place of ego. When he sent me a text saying that he'd unblocked me, all I was able to send was an apology after 2 days. But in my heart, I was still mad at him and blaming him for pulling away. I wasn't seeing where I went wrong. The days turned into weeks where none of us reached out to one another. I wanted to, but I was embarrassed to the core from being blocked earlier, so I couldn't. And after 3 weeks of no contact, I thought it was over. Oh, I cried like hell and stayed in bed for several days. I just couldn't believe how I met the most wonderful guy, the man of my dreams, and then he was gone in the blink of an eye. Then somehow I pulled myself together, but all I did during that time was attracting your ex back meditations, like non-stop. In big letters, I literally became obsessed with it, and I did meditations for hours each day, right after waking up, before going to bed, and during the day too. All I wanted was to hear back from him. But after 2 weeks, I got so exhausted that I caught a fever and stayed in bed, and then somehow I made a trip to go see my family in Toronto, as I wanted a break from all what was going on and clear my head. So when I was gone, all I focused on was to enjoy my trip. I had a terrific time, joking and laughing with my cousins continuously. My brain needed a shift in focus, and I feel that's when the magic happened. That very night, after 6 weeks of no contact, Jay not only sent me several texts, but called me on both of my numbers and on WhatsApp too. I just couldn't believe my eyes. As I picked up the phone to take a picture at the dinner table, I was like, what in the world? That I had to go excuse myself to go to the ladies' room to look at my phone screen clearly if it was for real. I literally jumped in joy in the bathroom stall. LOL. I was like, oh my goodness, this LOA thing is damn real. The next day I was flying back, so I was able to see Jay before he had to leave back to his state. Yep, it's long distance for us. When Jay and I met in person, he told me that the reason for him pulling away had nothing to do with me, and that he was dealing with massive work and family stress. But when I texted him nonstop, he couldn't take it anymore and had to block me. That conversation put me at ease, and I felt true affection and a sense of care for him towards me. I apologized again, and he did as well. That month went great, and we saw each other again in February. Our communication was back, and then in March, this pandemic happened, and Jay had just started his new job then, and he told me that he needed to be more focused on that and may not be able to come and see me for some time during this whole COVID situation, which I understood, as it wasn't in our hands, as we all were in lockdown for almost 3 months anyways. I took that pause to work on myself. I did yoga, extended combination meditations on self-love, whispering technique, and mostly SP-focused meditations. Because all I wanted was this chaos to end and to see him again. Part 2. I think as I look back, I was still in that place of lack. So the episode of neediness happened yet again. I was actually doing really well, but when someone through my work approached me romantically, It threw me off balance. And I told Jay about it, and he asked him to give me a commitment if this has to continue, which certainly didn't go well as I wasn't listening to what he was saying, yet focusing on what I wanted to hear. So at the end, he said that probably we both need someone who's close to us, and I should give this new person a chance because he couldn't put forth a commitment as yet with all the work, financial, and family stress in his life, as it wouldn't be fair to the both of us. I hated him for saying that, and I told him that I'm going to delete his numbers and I don't want to talk to him anymore. So we ended up breaking up. At least that's how it felt like. I was heartbroken, but it was my own creation. A friend of mine also played a negative role in all of this. She polluted my mind both times around, saying what a worse kind of man Jay is, that he shouldn't have chased me, and it's good that this long distance relationship between us has ended. She affirmed that Jay would have done this to me sooner or later, but my heart just wouldn't believe her. Anyhow, to kind of put a band-aid on my situation, I did give this new guy a chance and went out on a few coffee and dinner dates with him, but the more I talked to him, the more I missed Jay. The more it reminded me of how wonderful Jay is and how much I respect him. How he truly is the kind of guy who I wanted to spend my future with. So after my third date with this new guy, within the course of 2 weeks, I told him that we may not be a good match and that I'm just not ready to date anyone. This was definitely the time for me to shift gears and bring the focus onto myself. I lost the man of my dreams 2 times in 6 months. And it may not all be his fault, but my own projections onto everything. So I started hearing all the success stories on your channel again after a year, and this time it spoke to me so differently. I was able to hear self-love in big letters out loud in every video I watched, so I began to do only self-love meditations and Ho'oponopono and nothing else. This time I wanted to correct me, and I also did inner child meditation to let go of the past wounds. I did yoga religiously, ate right, lost weight, took care of myself. Overall, because I wanted to be a better person internally and emotionally so I can be a better partner. During this time, of course, I missed Jay, but kept my focus on myself. During this time, my business also took a peak and lots of referrals started to come in, and I even attracted some unexpected money. More friends reached out. Other random guys also started showing interest, and even with the mask on where others can't see me smile, more and more people became helpful and just gravitated towards me more. In general, this was amazing. So during this time, I didn't contact Jay, and neither did he, because I was the one who ended things up. But this time I wasn't blocked either. So after 2 months of no contact and self-love, I texted him and he replied within hours, telling me it's all good and how happy he is to hear from me. When I reached him this time around, I did it with no expectations and conditions, and him allowing me back into his space is something I am greatly thankful for. Jay had no reason to tolerate and forgive my childlike acts, but he had been kind and accepting all along, which I am deeply grateful for and respect him immensely. While I'm happy for having Jay in my life in whatever way he is, this isn't about him anymore. By crossing paths with him, I got connected with my inner self on a deeper level. I'm able to discover my powers, yet encountering my greatest vulnerabilities. I've learned and grown so much through this connection with Jay, and while he didn't teach me self-love directly, with him coming into my life, I learned the value to find my true self, which in itself is the biggest revelation of a lifetime and a great success story. Through self-love, I've learned that we are a powerhouse of abundance, and filling our own cup first is the only way to go. Now, being the best version of myself isn't for another person, but truly for my own self. So I can live and appreciate this gorgeous life to the fullest with or without my SPJ. Of course, I adore him and I want him in my future, but only when it serves both of us collectively. Evidently, through all of this, I've learned that it's our path and our story. And our SPs may come and become part of our journey, but they aren't the focal point. In all and all, the spotlight should always be on our own selves. So it can lift the pressure off of other people to provide our needs. Now Jay is more open with me and let me know. Now Jay is more open with me and lets me know ahead of time of his upcoming commitments with his kids, work and school, and he works on his dissertation work, his PhD. It's been 8 months that Jay and I have met, but that longing of him not with me is gone. I'm secure within myself and I'm excited that eventually everything will work out in the best form. My message to all of the viewers is to love yourself unconditionally first and foremost, and don't put the main focus on your SPs. As it's good to have a partner in life, but if we are cracked within ourselves, ooh, I like the way you said that. No matter how much love and affection our SP gives us, it will eventually fall through those cracks. Oh, that's beautifully said. Thank you once again, Agnes, for your work, and please feel free to share my story on your channel. I'm open to do an interview to pay it forward, as success stories on your channel gave me much strength to manifest mine. Oh, wow. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. I will put down below everything that Faizia has shared with you in the story. I will also put the self-love meditations playlist down below for you, and also the how to attract a specific person playlist and the specific person XBAX SP success stories playlist. And also, I think I threw this in the bin. So just give me a sec. What did I do with it? No, I can't find it. So, a viewer, Laura, has given me 2 really wonderful self-love websites for those of you that want to do a bit more work on your self-love. I will put the exact websites down below. I had it on a piece of paper and I've thrown it out. So I will put it down below, and you can go and do a bit more research and learning for your self-love and self-worth, because as you can see from this story and many stories, that self-love is the foundation, I think, to all. Relationships are a reflection of how well you're doing within yourself. So the better the self-love, the better the relationships. Lots of love, everyone. And I will see all of you, as always, in the next YouTube.